Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a paid request for Rapper Kirby 3K. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, commentaries, reviews, re-reviews, video game playthroughs, tier list rankings, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I really do appreciate it. So this time it is Virtuosity from 1995, which I'm like, that's cool, because it's actually a personal favorite of mine. And, you know what, let's get started. Thank you. I really do appreciate it, Rapper Kirby 3K. PayPal, again, is usually the best way to request stuff. I do have a Cash App. People have asked about that, as well as other stuff. Links are down below in the info box, and thank you. But I'm pause the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. So we have the Paramount logo. Sadly, this film bombed with critics, and it bombed at the box office. This movie only made $8 million his opening weekend, debuted at number 4, and it made $24 million. That's it. So it's a complete bona fide flop. Which is too bad, because, to be perfectly honest, I know people were growing at this. This is my favorite Denzel Washington film. Brett Leonard directed it. Of course, Brett Leonard had directed The Lawnmower Man, which I do like the film. That was before this. He also directed the Jeff Goldblum film Hideaway. I think Hideaway was either before this or the same year as this. But this film, it was a massive bomb, and it kind of killed his career. I mean, he did do other stuff afterward. He did like a dinosaur educational video. He did like a Siegfried and Roy thing. And he eventually did make movies he did. He did that Feed, which was interesting movie, I'll put it that way. And Highlander the Source, which I think is the director's worst film. And the worst Highlander film, The Source. I can't remember the last film he did. I think he did some film with, I forget. I didn't see it. But a lot of names popped up. I mean, Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe. Of course, they would work together later in American Gangster. I saw this film back to the day, might have been on VHS tape. And just liked the sci-fi elements, liked the action-packed pacing. I thought Denzel was good as the lead. I thought Russell Crowe was a lot of fun. And a lot of people, you know, you got William Forsythe, and you got Kelly Lynch, and you got Kevin J. O'Connor, Brett Leonard. Of course, him dealing with special effects is nothing new, because he dealt with effects in The Lawnmower Man. And this definitely has a cyberpunk aura to it. Of course, by this point, maybe an audience, if they're a bit, their nose is something's off. Like, look at everybody's almost in the same suit. Like, everyone's like dressed the same with the same ties. Maybe, yeah, well, there's a few little bit alterations. But most of them have this like, it's like the same 3 suits. Just kind of like an older video game, where they have like a certain amount of enemies, and then they just reuse them, like Resident Evil. There's a certain amount of zombies, like different types of zombies that have the same type of shirts. Just reused over and over again. I'm sure people are wondering, like, what the hell's going on here? Now, one thing I heard about Denzel is that one of the reasons he did this because his son, like, wanted him to do, like, a cool, you know, movie, cool action movie. I don't know if that's true, but I thought I remember Denzel saying that once. I mean, really, these tiers of NPCs, I thought that was interesting for 1995 to have, you know, these NPCs. And of course, NPCs you would see later, you know, in games, more so like Grand Theft Auto, and even films like Free Guy. You know, Free Guy and all these other movies that dealt with this type of stuff. Gamer. A little bit, kind of with Gamer, in a way. Kind of, sort of, but not really. But especially like Free Guy or Ryan Reynolds and stuff. So I thought this was kind of ahead of its time with the NPCs. Of course, this is not reality, so this food wouldn't be real anyway. Goddamn loser ton. I forget the music, what the music is called, but I love this piece of music. There's a techno beat to it. I know this music was used in some movie trailers in this era too. I mean, 5 minutes in, we already got a shootout, we got a crazy villain, we got a hero. I mean, God don't know what he's doing. Russell Crowe is just having a ball and a half with this movie, and I love it. It probably is my favorite Russell Crowe role as well as my favorite Denzel role. Interesting designs. You look at the patches on the police uniform, like the American flag, and the other patches on there. But yeah, this came out in 1995, so that's the same year as like Die with a Vengeance, among other films. And of course, this is a state where we're using much more CGI special effects. Then Lawnmower Man was a few years before, and then Jurassic Park came out in '93, and that was a huge hit. So you've seen definitely more of these big effects-heavy movies come through the pipeline into theaters. The year after, you have Independence Day, Twister. Nice little bit of slow-mo there. Denzel getting wounded. And it makes sense why the wound looks a bit weird, because as we kind of find out, this is all digital. This is all in a digital way, so some things may not look, that wasn't programmed to look that way. Of course, this guy isn't real, so that's why he does that. Oh, there's that guy there. I know people mock the special effects, but I mean, I think they did what they could in 1995. And they say, well, it's dated. Well, I mean, of course, it's 2024. It's not gonna look like 2024 effects, but I think for the time, it was definitely ambitious. But this is where VR was such a huge development, huge motivation for a lot of movies at this time. Just people thought VR was going to hit so big. That'd be the next new frontier, would be virtual reality. And yes and no, but it's the computer. Like, go on computer and hacking and doing everything we can on the computer. Banking, shopping, working, schooling, teaching, like all sorts of stuff on a computer. Not so much VR. But VR creates much more like cinematic visual experience. And I remember back to the day, there was the only time I got to be at Mall of America in Minnesota when I was a small, as a very young. There was a VR theme for little kids, but it's like bubble gum, and you're supposed to like throw bubble gum at in this VR thing. I remember getting like this purple bubble yum plush ball that you smell like grapes. Sadly, I don't have that anymore. Long gone, long lost. And nowadays, you do have a VR set you could buy that's very expensive. But, man, that stuff's just so damn expensive. No, I mean, I just missed a lot of actors. I mean, we got Louise Fletcher in the yellow there, and William Fichtner driving. William Fichtner, of course, was Shredder. No, not. He was going to be Shredder, but they changed his name. I forget what name he's used. In the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movie that he produced. Because originally Will Fichtner was the Shredder, then they changed it up and he was someone else. He was the main bad guy in the Lone Ranger movie. William Fichtner was in a lot of stuff. He was in Armageddon. Of course, Louise Fletcher, we saw in the yellow. She was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I think she won an Oscar for that. The Exorcist 2, The Heretic. Then here we got William Forsythe, which I thought was cool to see him here as the good guy. Because I remember a lot of times, I would see him in movies, he was always the bad guy. Out for Justice, Steven Seagal, he was the bad guy. Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth, he was the bad. He was the bad guy in Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth. He was the bad guy in Out for Justice, Steven Seagal. He was the bad guy in. I'm trying to think now the movie. But he got to be a good guy in this. He got to be a good guy a year later in The Rock. I thought that was really cool to see. And William Forsythe just a great actor. And then Denzel. Nice that he has a different look here. So you have your prisoner look, and then you have the more clean-cut look. I pretend to die like him? You got a point. Sorry I was silent, I was listening to the dialogue. But see, that's one of the things I like about the film is I like the cast. I think the cast does a great job. I think Denzel at this point, he had done films like Glory, I think the Pelican Brief. I'm trying to remember what other films he did at this point. There's Philadelphia. But he had never done a film like this. And, like, if someone likes, like, oh, Denzel's above this stuff, he did 3 Equalizer films, and apparently in the news, he's doing an Equalizer 4 and 5. Which means 5 Equalizer films. And let me tell you something. I like this film a lot more than those Equalizer films. Again, I think the villain is a lot better with Russell Crowe. I think the pacing comes off as much faster. It feels like there's more action. And again, the supporting cast and all the other stuff added in there, I think, work well. So we get the idea he's going to get screwed over and someone got paid off to have a piece of him. But I like the backstory we find out of Denzel. It's a pretty brutal backstory. I mean, his wife and daughter, there's a bomb, he's trying to save them, there's an explosion, he has his arm blown off, he's so out of it. His wife and kid are dead. and then a reporter and their team get in the middle of the damn fight. So honestly, it's their damn fault for their stupidity. You see a guy out of it with a fucking blown arm off and a machine gun. Hey, how's it doing? Because he's just out of it. To me, that's temporary insanity to me. But of course, instead, because we got to see his tactics, what he could do using his mind in the VR world. Now we get to see what he could do in the real world. That he could handle himself. Spinning fans, what is this, Alien 3? Big old fans. Nah, I like that too. It gets a little bit of like, what the hell? And we kind of find out he's got a fake arm. A metal arm. Damn Jax from Mortal Kombat. There you go. Of course, for him, he feels he doesn't have much to live for, so he's having fun with this shit. Some nice camera angles they use in this. Said, yeah, I don't know, these guards were paid off, or they just don't like him because they feel, oh, he's a cop that makes us look bad, or something else. Law Enforcement Technology Advancement Center. I mean, just the idea that this is supposed to be like a training tool for police officers. That's the idea behind this. Which I think is an interesting idea, is an interesting concept. This real rush. You tell Russell Crowe's eyes is not quite looking at the guy. He's looking, like, imagine him looking, but I'm kind of looking over here like this. Hey, I'm going to talk to you guys like this. So I don't know if he was meant to stand over on the other side, but that would block the camera, or they didn't direct Russell the way they should have. But I guess, honestly, if you think about it, would he be able to see him? Or would he be able to just hear him? Like, would he actually be able to see? That'd be the question. Why would he be able to? So maybe that would make sense. Like, would he actually be able to see this guy, or just he's hearing him? So he's just answering his voice. Now, this is Kelly Lynch, which, of course, she was in the Patrick Swayze film Roadhouse. Pain Don't Hurt. Now, I found a very intriguing interview with her with the AV Club, and apparently there was a crew member that called into a show that confirmed what she said. And I want to read this because it's a bit of an interesting backstory. And I honestly believe it because I believe Denzel, while I do like him as an actor, I believe he would do this. This is what she said. First of all, the Denzel Washington part was a role written for Mel Gibson. And it was a romantic role. I could see Mel Gibson doing this kind of role, yeah. He played a character who was in prison for many years, and he gets out and he hooks up with this computer forensic specialist who finds bad guys on the internet. And they pursue this guy who's a virtual reality kind of creation. And Denzel decided, well, we all had to audition with him, which they rarely do anymore. For Denzel and I, it was very charged. It was really great. We really connected. It was sexual, funny. We connected intellectually. Everything was working. They were thrilled. It was a wonderful script. But we showed up for rehearsal, and Denzel, and apparently she hesitated while doing this interview, we had kind of an inexperienced director in Brett Leonard, who had only done a few movies before that, which is true. He did like a low-budget film called The Dead Pit. He did The Lawnmower Man, and I think Hideaway was around the same time as this. He did not have much experience with big movie stars, which is true. I mean, The Dead Pit, nobody was there. Like, Lawnmower Man, Jeff Fahey was a newbie. Like, he had been in Psycho 3. Pierce Brosnan, this is before he was James Bond. And then Hideaway, just Jeff Goldblum. But even Jeff Goldblum, it's like, okay, you know, Jurassic Park. I don't know if you call him a big movie star. But anyway, when actors feel like there's not a real captain of a ship, they can feel like I have to take this project under my wing and I have to fix it because no one is minding the store. That's the kind of feeling Denzel had, I think. So he took the script, rewrote it, and decided that my character was not really much of an expert, but worked at the company and had a child, would have a bomb strapped to her back. So I would become a hostage, a child in jeopardy thing, which I hated. And there would not be a romantic relationship between these people. Even though this man had been in prison for many, many years, he didn't feel any connection to women when he got out. At least not any woman that we see with him. And then he took half of my part and incorporated it into his dialogue. That was the kind of beginning of the end. The whole script just unraveled. Now, there's more, but I love the film as is. I can understand her frustration, where you're given the part, the script is one thing, then you just change a good chunk of the script, and then things may not sync up as well as you think it should. Granted, part of me was fine with it because not every movie needs a romantic relationship. Not every movie needs to be a love story. There's Kevin J. O'Connor there on the right. Kevin J. O'Connor would be in Deep Rising with Treat Williams. He was Brendan Fraser's, not buddy, but the guy that kept screwing with him, and they would go on, hey, Benny, looks like you're on the wrong side of the river. Bye, Benny. He was in The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. He was in Lord of Illusions. There's a good cast in this. But yeah, like Daylight with Stallone. One of my issues with that film is there didn't need to be this kind of love story between Stallone and Amy Brenneman. So I didn't think this needed a love story. I was fine with that. But the reason Denzel says that I don't agree with Denzel, I definitely agree with her, what she says here. And I can see Denzel saying this. From some interviews I've seen with him, with the way he talks about certain people and certain stuff. Okay, so I was very nice, though. I said, Denzel, what is it? Why don't you believe that this man you're playing can be attracted to me? It wasn't a cheesy love story. It was well written and moving. He said, you know what, Kelly? I hate to say it, but white men bring women to movies and they don't want to watch a black man with their woman. I was like, what? He's like, no, I'm sorry, but that's truly what it is. That's what the audience is. I'm like, but what about films like The Bodyguard? That was a huge hit. Well, that's different. That's a white man. It's different. I said, so that's your main motivating factor in this? He said, yes. So love story wasn't a love story anymore, so I said, okay. Years later on the Larry Elder show, they were talking about it because some crew member called up, and he didn't identify himself, but he knew the whole thing. They talked about it and said, oh, I wish we could get a phone call from Kelly Lynch. I was in my car, but I was like, they absolutely have it right, but I'm just not going to talk about it right now. But it made me very sad, not only as an actress, because it totally turned the movie. She says a piece of crap. I don't think it's a piece of crap. I get that Denzel got a little bit afraid of everything, and I'm sure he believed what he was saying, although I think he's wrong. I think that people go to movies because they think they're good movies, or they don't go to them because they think they're bad. I just don't come from that place. If that's what people think, then I don't want to make movies for them. So it's a really weird experience, but I learned a lot. I did. I don't think it's a piece of crap, but I did what she's saying, where I don't believe that either. I think that's very simple-minded thinking. I'm kind of I'm disappointed in Denzel for thinking that way, and I don't think Taylor Lynch has any reason to lie. So yeah, I think. And again, I've seen Denzel in interviews, and he just seems like that type of guy. I watched Russell Crowe, who's a brilliant actor as well, and he made something out of that movie. He took it, he found his place because he wasn't involved in any of that weird black-white dynamic. There were all these things I didn't understand were happening or were allowed to happen. Not everybody was happy with those choices that Denzel allowed to happen, but no one stopped him. But Russell Crowe would come out and hang out. We talked a little bit, and he said, I'm just doing what I'm doing. He was funny because he decided to terrorize me, as in decorate my trailer every day. Each time I come to my trailer, there'd be more decorations until I finally had flower boxes and trees, and the interior was like a bodega. You always want the movies to turn out to be just the greatest thing ever, but what the audience doesn't realize is that we're still having a life experience, the crew and cast, and some days they can be highly entertaining or really bizarre, but it's always interesting. That I found very fascinating. And I buy it. I believe it. It just, something about it rings true for me. It really does ring true for me. Because in this era, they had a fascination of putting love stories into movies and these type of films. And I just see it. I just see that being the case, man. And those effects don't bother me. I know they're very 1995, but hell, I've seen Marvel films nowadays like Ant-Man the Wasp and stuff that look the same or worse. I like the idea too of nanomachines. Which of course other films would use nanomachines like Jason X to build that cyber version of him, Uber Jason, among other stuff. Because of course we have to find a way to get Russell Crowe into the real world, so nanomachines and make something physical representation of something. Of course, he thinks he's making this girl, but of course that's not the case. That'd be interesting to hear Brett Leonard's, like the stuff I talked about, what Brett Leonard's thoughts on that is. That would be very interesting to see, or to hear him talk about. But there's nothing on the Blu-ray of this. Completely bare bones. See, if Denzel had said, you know what, I don't buy this guy fall in love with someone because he's still honed in on the death of his wife and kid, and he feels like if he met another woman, he'd be cheating on her, even though she's passed away. But like, still, whether call it guilt, I would still feel guilty that somehow I'm cheating on her because I wasn't able to save her, but now I'm choosing someone, that's not her. Like this kind of blocked in your head guilt, that I could see. It was a xenomorph, or it was like the plane from Little Shop of Horrors. By this point, David J. O'Connor should realize, okay, that's not a girl. The big muscles might have been the clue to it. So obviously they have some practical effects, and they did a bit of morphing in that. He just every scene is like, I'm just going to have as much fun as I can. That's infectious. Daryl, come out, Daryl. But you show his ass, but don't show his pecker. Which I'm fine with not showing his pecker. Him doing these little moves. What, you Colonel Stewart from Die Hard 2? I guess this is him kind of testing out this whole thing. Cuts his finger off. Good year. But that's kind of cool because it makes him like more of an unstoppable figure where as long as there's glass or stuff nearby, you give a reason as to why you just shoot him multiple times, but he still gets back up. I'm wondering what kind of hallway he was running from because there's no guards. Like there's no guards or anything. He's just kind of running through this open hallway. I'm like, what is that hallway? Is that like something for prisoners to go back and forth to stretch their legs or something? I don't know. I'm like, what is this fucking hallway? They just random hallways running. I did because there's no guards near by him. Because this is a bullshit part, and come on now. What would you pick? I don't know, 17 more years of jail or catch or kill the thing, and I don't know, man. Guess I try to catch him. Man, it's worth a shot, right? It's worth a shot. It's worth a damn shot. Sorry, I'm listening to the dial. You wonder why I'm being silent. Well, that's a nice way to put it. I call her a clusterfuck. She's a public relations nightmare. I call her over this clusterfuck. That's just me, though. That's just the way I would put it. I do like that. Hey, she gets struck by lightning. She get hit by a car. It's not my fault. You want this world tad. I also can't blame him because the last time someone tagged along was those damn reporters who got his fucking way when he's got a fucking arm gone. He's days from a damn explosion. His family just been murdered. What the fuck? My question is, how the hell was temporary insanity not part of a plea? What lawyer did he have? Definitely not Johnny Cochran. I don't know why. This also reminds me a bit of Demolition Man, which in a good way, because I love Demolition Man. I would put Demolition Man above this, but you have a cop who is in jail, is brought out of jail to go after this prisoner, this villain who's now escaped and doing some killing, and he's being tagged because we're gonna follow you. We have people that don't want to join you. Why you shove a leash up my ass? And then you have a villain that's just very over the top and fun. Simon Phaser, in this case, Sid. I also like the idea we find out that he has like all these serial killers within his mindset. Just because they're tearing the joy of killing your family doesn't mean we can't be friends. Like I said, I love the sci-fi aspect of it, and I mean, I don't understand the hate that the film gets. I don't. I don't. I think it's a cool idea, good cast, fun soundtrack, definitely of its time. Yeah, what like Tracy Lords and other people, Peter Gabriel. At the end credits song is Peter Gabriel. And then Tracy Lords like when Denzel's in the car and so he's yep. So I like that he's doing these copycats of different killers, and in that case, he had Charles Manson. This guy, though, I don't know what his deal is. Like, what is he to gain from this? Or does he just love his creation of Sid and doesn't want him destroyed? That guy looks familiar. I know I've seen that guy before in the driver's seat of that car. Yeah, I know I've seen that guy before. I don't remember where from, though, but I know I've seen him before. Voice actuated? Don't you mean voice activated? That's a weird way of saying it. Voice actuated. I would say voice activated, but okay. Voice actuated. Was it John Wayne Gacy there? Hmm. I saw like Billy the Kid in there. Of course. I like that too. That, to put all these killers in there, and lo and behold, one of them has to be the guy who killed his family. So now there's even more of a personal grudge against Sid. And now Sid has that bit of memory to use against. And it makes things, weirdly enough, a little bit more personal. Sid's just like, kind of, just wants the excitement, the fashion, the attention. So going to the party and let's have fun. Definitely wants the attention. Yeah, he definitely loves the attention. Now, I know this little girl, she's been in stuff too. Can't remember what the name of her name is. The little girl's name is Kaylee Cuoco. She was Penny on the CBS sitcom The Big Bang Theory from 2007 to 2019. So that's probably the big thing. Because she's about third on the call sheet, playing the character Penny, an aspiring actress from Nebraska who moves in across the hall from Jonathan Deletti and Jim Parsons. Waits tables, tends the bar at the Cheesecake Factory. They have a hope of becoming a successful actress. She becomes a pharmaceutical sales representative. Her and Jonathan Deletti meet and get married. Huh. So yeah, later she's going to be one of the stars of The Big Bang Theory, which very successful sitcom. Very successful. You know what? I've probably only seen maybe one episode of that show. But yeah, 12 seasons. I don't know if I want a robot serving me drinks anyway. He's warning him. He warned you. He warned you not to leave. Well, probably not pretty enough that you didn't, you didn't want her as a damn love interest for your stupid racial reasons. Was that a thing with the Pelican Brief as well, or some other films? I think, I think there were other films with Denzel that he did the same thing. Do you think Pelican Brief was one of them? Maybe not. I know there were others. I mean, the film bombed anyway, so I like the idea of recording the stream and using it, to remix it and stuff. Just having so much fun. So Russell Crowe, I mean, it'd be a few years later where he'd be Gladiator in 2000, won an Oscar for that. I think in 1999 he was nominated for The Insider. That was, and I think Denzel had done The Hurricane. I think they were both nominated, but they didn't. Neither one won. And then, what was it? Gladiator, Crowe won. I know when Denzel did the Training Day. I think Russell Crowe, was he? Was that Beautiful Mind? I can't remember. But I know, of course, Denzel won for Training Day. Just such a weird, quirky idea to make a symphony utilizing that stuff. He wants to be the center of attention. Nice shooting, Tex. Shut up. Yeah, good hero. Yeah, fun, entertaining villain. Villain that does really weird, quirky things. Wants to hear your stream. I still don't know how Denzel got in that damn elevator so easily. You think, some other cops or stuff would have stopped him. Well, I guess maybe they allowed him because he got his badge. They allowed him to go, to be fair. He's having a rush on this. He's ready to come in his pants. Okay, shoot him now. I think he does shoot him. Keep shooting him. Don't hold up. Don't hold back. Keep shooting. Damn, how many bolts are in that gun? There you go. Here's Tracy Lords. My favorite track on the soundtrack. I do love this track. I remember this really getting my blood pumping when I first saw it back in the day. I think this is cool, like, nice wide shots, shooting at the vehicle. Yeah, does it? He gets in a car and he gets the shotgun, right? Oh yeah, he drives. Then they take the wheel and he swerves it. I remember that. That'll be coming up soon. Great music choice. I love the soundtrack they use. I'm a sucker for these like race, chase sci-fi action chase movies. I'm way like Demolition Man's that where I get the crook. I Come in Peace with Dolph Lundgren, The Hidden. I would put in that same category. I didn't like The Hidden, like I Come in Peace, like Demolition Man, like that type of movie. The Symphony of Collision. Fuck you. Yeah, it's got 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, but who gives it? Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. Well, I mean, Rotten Tomatoes, it's not Rotten Tomatoes' fault. It's just they did all the reviews, and this is what it is, and they're being factual. So it's not the website's fault. Unless they allow certain things to happen they shouldn't, but it's neither here nor there. But yeah, this film, 5.5 IMDb, fuck that. This is not a 5.5 out of 10 IMDb. Give me a break. I think like all the other films, just this year alone, that this film is way better at. Yeah, get the crowd pleaser. Like, this is a cool stunt. Swerving, getting the shotgun out there. Like, this is really cool. Got him. Like, that stuff is cool. He said, God, this guy is fun, just laughing and cackling away. Ideas like Simon Phoenix and Demolition Man. It's just like Demolition Man, especially now, has the added bits of the PC culture of that era, that future, and just how sadly, how truthful that became in the future, in our present. Messenger theory. I know because I know. Now, granted, you just say it's how serendipitous, how convenient that the killer that's the most dominant just happens to be the same killer that killed Denzel's family. Of all the hundreds and whatever personalities and killers, that one killer just happened to be the ultimate personality. and it just happened to be the same one that killed his family. Like, I can understand it being a part with all these other killers. I think that's cool. But, oh, he's the most dominant. It's like, okay. I just see, oh, I'm going to choose that to fuck with him. And that be his mentality. But he was dominant over Jeffrey Dahmer and Charles Manson and all that. It's like, okay. I just thought it was the iterate usage of Staying Alive. Nice play on Saturday Night Fever. Oh yeah, does he start turning all the TVs? That's right. He just pissed. Yeah, the guy tries to stop him. It's like now you can't even find places like this anymore with all this TV and stuff. Just let's maybe a little bit of Walmart, but it'd be nothing like this. And he's like, "What the hell's going on?" He's so happy until you realize the guy changed his TV. Shit. And he could just do that right there, because who's going to stop him? He does like being filmed. He likes the attention. But that's where he gets the idea of, well, if he wants more attention, this is where all the cameras are at. More destruction, more annihilation. Yep, he's having a good old time. I mean, as good of a theory as any. But I get what they did with the plot because, okay, this guy knows about Matthew Grimes, knows how he works, how he operates, so it becomes less of he knows how Sid operates. See, that's kind of thing is, I kind of, it would have been nice if it was, okay, he knows how Sid operates and that's why he's out there. To the added bonus, Matthew Grimes is in it, but, oh, Michael Buffer. Of course, you gotta have Michael Buffer there. Let's get ready to rumble. Of course, gotta have Michael Buffer in there. Why not? It's Michael Buffer. Getting famous for let's get ready to rumble. I think one of these guys, was that Ken Shamrock? Was one of these guys in the ring? Yeah, people just fighting in the damn crowd. But it's like, okay, I like that Matthew Grimes, the guy, is part of Sid, but then does that convenience that, oh, he just has to be the dominant one, but anyway. Oh, that's a good stunt. Dude, that's a high fall. I would assume there'd be a pad there. Hey, Parker. This was for you. Well, that definitely proves his Matthew Grimes, because that's the thing that was said. We'll find out later. Nice little practical effect they featured there of the hand blowing up. Of course, him fixed is going to be CG, but at least there's not wall-to-wall CG in every single scene. I think that's why I can handle in this movie. Yes, there are CG elements, but it's not in every single scene littered with it every 45 seconds. Like, there's that little bit there. But most of the other scene, I think up until he'll fix his hand, like the rest of it is done practically. I think here he'll maybe fix his yeah, I think that's Tin Shamrock back there with the black trunks. I can't show anyone because it's too many people there. Ultimate Fighting. The early days are Ultimate Fighting. Very different from the UFC today. Because these people seem happy about it. Ooh, good stunt there. I don't know who did that. I don't think... It's a wide enough shot, so it was a stunt double, but... Whoever did, a nice flip over the fence. People just randomly hit each other in this fucking arena. What the hell, man? Oh, there's really another CG bit. But I mean, it's used sparingly, I would say, compared to like movies later, like, you know, The Mummy and things of that nature. Now, here we're going to get a repeat from the VR where there's a hostage. Then Sid's going to make it seem like Denzel killed her, and then he's got to be put back into prison. Which I guess is a smart move on his part. You know, I'm going to make this guy, accused. Of course, what if Denzel had not put his gun up? That'd be the thing. Well, I guess if he didn't, then Russell Crowe would shoot him. I remember in the trailer, this shot would have and be game over. Like they added the game over line, which he says the line earlier in the VR, but in the trailer they added it to this scene here. So here, yeah, they make it seem like Denzel shot the girl, which we find out that's not the case. The Sid killed her himself. Yeah, I think that would come into the factor that maybe he's got a gun, he could have shot from under. Of course, CSI would get this solved within 24 hours. They looked at the bullet. Where did it come from? Did it come from the back or did it come from the front? Like, do people now realize that Sid had a gun too? Like, with forensics, did it come from behind her or did it come from in front of her? But CSI... What did CSI... I mean, not the show, but I mean the other elements of it really come into play with the investigations. I don't think this is a bad looking movie either. I mean, I'm seeing the, copy online, but, looks good. Looks slick enough. Maybe because there's no stupid, like, filters and thus used upon it, so, it makes it look good. It doesn't make it look fake and stuff. Yeah, this is where we're going to get the flashback. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I thought this was kind of an interesting, again, kind of an interesting little backstory where, again, his family's there. And we hear a little bit of music from what we hear at the end credits of Peter Gabriel. It's interesting they put in like little elements of that. I mean, obviously we know now what's going to happen, of course, but I think that's a good stunt there. The stunt guy flying back like that. I think that's a good stunt. And I like this bit here where he's lost his damn arm. Like right there. So he tells him to stay down. He's telling him to stay the fuck down. I wonder how many damn bullets that gun have. Because he shot a lot of bullets so far. Like, seriously, like, told him to stay down. He's got his arm blown off. What if you hesitate too long, you may die. Those reporters are too stupid to live. What the fuck? You think, oh, well, this guy had an arm blown off, his family's dead, temporary insanity would have, you know. I already said that. See, I like that idea. That seeing you brings Grimes to the surface. That the now say thank you. We don't do cop killer. Mm. New York Touch reminds me of Steve from New York, what they did to Stay Pliskin. Me or them. Or them or me. See, that just makes things interesting with Russell Crowe. It's like, hey, you got this thing implanted. You want to go after me or after them? I can't remember who this band is. Is it Pearl Jam or something? I can't remember. I mean, you say, why does he just wait for the authorities? But at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to explain. Yeah, Sid killed these guards, but then left me alive. And then, would they believe that? And then hit the dot. So I'm sure he's thinking, let me try to find a way to maybe get this shit out of my head or something. But, damn. These are some weird phone booths. Number one, the phone booths a few years later would be get to pretty much obsolete. I mean, by the time phone booth from with Colin Farrell came out in the early 2000s, then they have like this little computer screen. Definitely out of its time, because nowadays it'd be all your cell phones and stuff. He says it looks like you're right about the woman too. What did he see to convince him? Because he was saying, what if you didn't see right? What if, she turned? So what evidence did he find to make him finally believe, no, maybe you're right about the woman? Did he find video evidence? Did he find other witnesses? Like, I mean, I would say CSI type of stuff, but like she told you, and then you said, well, maybe she turned, so. I'm trying to wonder, like, what is it that he saw that made him fully go, yep, you're right. Yeah, now we don't have this whole bit where they're going to try to kill him, and William Forsythe's going to try to help out Sally. He's going to get killed for it. Which is too bad. Like I said, very cool to see William Forsythe as a good guy. It's a kind of a rare occurrence. So that's nice to see. Yeah, try to take care of it. That's another thing. Christopher Young did the score for this, which is not a bad score. Christopher Young did the score for Number on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. He did the score for Hellraiser, Hellbound Hellraiser 2, among other movies. I think Copycat. So... I wonder what was the purpose of using that Star Trek clip. Yeah, it's later on where, William Forsythe's going to help, and Sally, that little weasel, is going to get that Forsythe killed. It's where I looked at their little console. That reminds me of Star Trek. These little consoles that they have. You see how low the numbers are, but once Russell Crowe gets in there, they're going to go sky high. Which they would, sadly. I mean, they would. People would be just fascinated by the horror, by the tragedy. I wonder where the fuck did he get a Sid 6.7 patch? Where the fuck did he have that? Did he like specifically go somewhere to get that made? Did he have money? How the hell did he get that patch? Ooh, nice headshot. See, you can't do that simple thing in a movie nowadays. The headshot, those squib. You can't do that. For a movie known for bad CGI, there's a nice squib in the head. They can't do that in a movie today. Come on now. There's a dozen Marvel superhero films you talk about with bad special effects, but they want to just pick on this movie. But it's not littered all over the place every 5 seconds. What about hanging from the testicles? That's another thing. Like, how did I guess he's from the computer, so maybe you know how to hack in and come up with the logo Def TV. Uh-oh. Of course. So it makes me wonder if that was how I wonder what the original ending was. Because it mentioned that she became a hostage, which she hated. Maybe it's like she rescues her daughter and then he takes out Sid. Maybe that's what it would have been. Like them working as a team, perhaps. And yeah, I don't know what the... I guess if an original script is out there that has that stuff in it, and they ever read it, they could let me know. I like the way they find the daughter, too. I like that, where they trick them into thinking everything's happening, but they're really inside the simulation. I thought this scene was pretty well edited. I love all the breaking of the glass. I like this too, using his arm. It's like this metal arm. I think what would have been cool is that he's using the arm and the bullets bounce off because it's metal. So it's not much of a shield, but at least something like on the head. Right, to still get here and here, but at least something. Some kind of block. Like, better than nothing type of thing. Because I remember when he first did that, I thought that was going to be like, at least somehow. And they could have up close, like the bullets, ooh, they almost got him, but the metal in his arm stopping it. And sort of have up close shots of that. I think instead it's just always got to use it to break the glass. But I think if they had little shots of it bouncing off his arm, I think that would have been a cool addition to it. and shoot him. I will admit there are times where they go back to little kid and it seems like the camera has moved or has zoomed in or changed an angle. I'm like, who's doing that? Because he's by himself. Who would be doing that? Here's your audience. I say it goes back to those movies like The Hidden, I Come in Peace, even The Terminator, Demolition Man to a point. Even film like, what was that, Eve of Destruction with Gregory Hines. You know, those type of sci-fi films, this has a decent enough budget that looks slick enough. Is that boring or anything? Other than an actual real helicopter being used. Of course, nowadays, that would more than likely be a CGI. I did for safety reasons, but they're doing it here and they're being safe. You just gotta have people know what the hell you're doing. A real helicopter, that's your real building. This great shot where you have the helicopter in the background, your actors in the foreground. Like this actually here, then you have the helicopter to the side. So we had a bit of a gunfire fight, now we got a bit of a fist fight. I mean, I guess really, isn't it like there's only like one scene we've had with the daughter character? I think so. There's only been like one scene when they first met and she's talked with him in the car. So, I mean, maybe you care about her because it's a little girl. You don't want the little girl to die, and she seems nice. But again, we've only had one scene to develop her. But that happens in a lot of movies. I mean, remember when Arnold's daughter was in trouble in True Lies? Did we have a lot of scenes with her in it? Not a whole lot, no. So sometimes it's just how it works with movies. You only have enough time. And if you try to put in more, does it drag the movie down? Does it not? I'm gonna jump for joy when you die. Damn. Ooh, nice backhand. Bah! Up here you go. Goodbye, motherfucker. Say motherfucker. Adios. Yeah, I think shredded him with glass and stuff. Bit too hard to come back from that one, ain't you, bitch? Yeah, I'm all shredded up, missing legs and shit. I think he does try to start repairing himself and then trying to stab him, impale him to the damn glass. I think there's some cool makeup effects there on the arm. Yeah, but why is he don't tell you where the girl's at? I thought it was actually pretty clever what they did here. So you kill his body, but then you trick him with his mind, since it's still a computer program, and you could rework it to fool it into. Grant, I wonder though, could they search his mind? Like, wouldn't his memories be on there, like a program, and then rewind to see where he put the girl? That's what I'm wondering. Ooh, that's nice. Punch your hole right into his head. Well, that damn gunk. Yeah, but it makes me wonder, like, with the little tube thing, could you search through his memories to see where he put the girl? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work that way. I don't know. Future shit. It's future shit. I don't know. But I do like the idea of tricking him. I thought that it's a neat idea. So you're like, what the hell's going on? And you see what, Denzel died? What the fuck? And then you see, oh no, he's actually alive. Then, which I'm trying to think, like, when the guy got electrocuted at the beginning of the film, the prisoner, he died. But here Denzel falls from a height and he lives. Is it because he knows what's coming? Is it because he knows, and so his mind makes it so I don't believe it's real type of thing? Yeah, I don't know how that works. Maybe the people behind the scenes kind of help. And that's where the audience really clicks in, like, oh, okay. He's the damn Terminator. Yep, and here we go there. I'd be watching this guy like a hawk. I wouldn't have my back turned to him. I don't know why William Forsythe has his back turned to this guy at all. I'd be having a gun on him the whole time. Idea why he doesn't have his gun on him the whole time, I don't know. I love this realization on Russell's face. right here. This VR. I'm back to the footy box. I did. Forsyth is like, oh, because he's got to help her down. So that's why his back is turned. These little weasel shit. Man. Such that Forsyth gets taken out by this asshole. Like, really? Like this jerk off? Come on. I don't think William Forsythe needed to die. I don't know, this reminded me of the end of Shocker. I think when Peter Bird is going through all, like, there's a bit where he's like flying around and like the old war footage explodes and Peter Bird flies over here. That's kind of reminds me of what's happened with Denzel here. Yeah, shoot that motherfucker right in the head. Makes sense. Let's take care of Denzel first. Come on, lady. What are you doing? Type faster. Why didn't you just take the gun from him in the first place? There we go. Shoot that motherfucker. Should take the gun and shot him in the first place. Right in the back of the head and then type. That's definitely Lawnmower Man inspired. That's where he did more of the Brett Leonard Lawnmower. He was doing that for a while, Brett Leonard. Then Lawnmower Man, you saw those type of special effects in Hideaway in this film, and then I just by this point people were just kind of done with it. Like I said, the whole like cyberpunk VR thing seemed like the mass audience didn't really. Ooh, nice uppercut. Knocked him right the fuck out. See, I don't. I mean, I don't know if Kelly Lynch was confused and she thought she was a hostage in this movie. She didn't really come off as a hostage. Watch it, and it was more her daughter, so she didn't really come off as a hostage. But I don't know. Maybe she didn't really have a whole lot to do in the film, and maybe she had a lot more to do with the finale and saving her girl or something. I'd be like, isn't there a way to saw that grate up? Oh yeah, he uses his arm to stop the fan. Damn tripwires. I would say, if I have a least favorite part, I guess it would be this, because, like, okay, it's going to end one of two ways, and more than likely, 9 out of 10 is going to end with Denzel stops the bomb. There's either 3, 2, 1, 0 seconds left, and, you know, he just, I hate the trope in movies where you're disarming a bomb and then you're at this 50-50 choice. Is it this or is it this? And then lo and behold, he hits the right one. Yeah, if she stands up, kaboom. Yeah, don't slip on the laser. But it's one of those things like how disarm the bomb. Is it the green wire or is it the yellow wire? Is it the blue or is it the red wire? And you hit the right one, boom. Ends with like 3 seconds left. I hate that trope. It is such an overused trope. They don't really do that anymore, which I'm glad for, but that's a trope I always was annoyed by. But one thing he didn't count on is him having a damn metal arm. Thank God a cop knows how to disarm a bomb, too. That's another thing. C4. So he has one... How many choices does he have? Like 3 choices? So not only is he a police officer that knows how to disarm C4, he knows all this shit somehow. But now he has 1 out of 3 chances he happens to hit the right one. It's like, of course he does. I do like that it seems like at first, oh, he screwed up. Because you think it'd be like, let me pull it out and let me put the other one. Let me pull out, put it. See, that's why it's like, well, why didn't he pull it out and try to put in the other one? Or the other one? Well, it didn't work that time. It didn't work that time. I don't really know why the counter does that. Like, it didn't work, it goes and then repeats. Like, I don't know why it does that. That always confused me as to why it goes fast, stops, and then repeats. Somehow the input does that. That always confused me. So, yeah, that's why I say this is my least favorite scene in the movie. I don't know. I'd rather have it be they find her, she gets out, and just end with they find her, she's actually there, they get her out, and then the movie's over. So to me it was like kind of unneeded. Like he just happens to know how to disarm a bomb, he just happens to pit the right 1 out of 3 chance. For some reason that always, again, confused me a bit. I'm like, what? I like what Christopher Young did here. It's a musical version of, it's a score version of Peter Gabriel's song. I thought it was sounded really nice, really beautiful, right here. Again, it's like it's the Christopher Young's version of Peter Gabriel's song at the end credits. I thought that was a really nice motif to put in there. So I don't really like that one little scene there. I still quite like the movie. Watching it again, I still find it very underrated. Goodbye, Sid. Of course, I wanted to show that it broke, and I ran over just to see, well, what if someone picked it up, and what if someone found it? So yeah, a little bit of that Tracy Lords that will go into Peter Gabriel pretty soon. I do like it ends with the Tracy Lords one, like this badass, yeah, did that badass thing, fuck yeah, Denzel. And here I have Peter Gabriel, which I like this song. But I like Peter Gabriel. I like Red Rain, I like this song. Peter Gabriel's a pretty good singer. Back to the day when you would have action movies that you have the helicopter shot where you see the wide shot where the characters are, and it's either pulling back or in this case swirling around. Like you have the camera pulling back to Lethal Weapon 2, or a lot of the Dirty Harry films, or stuff like that. They don't do that anymore. Yeah, they don't really do that anymore. And if they do, it's like very, very CGI, and you can tell it's very, very fake. I'm like, just get a fucking helicopter and do the shit, but apparently it's too hard. Apparently it's too tough. Apparently it's too inconvenient of them. But I like this film. I think it's an underrated film. I think it still holds up. The CGI, yeah, it's of its time, but there's not as much as people say it is. Little spurts here and there, but it's not wall to wall every 30 seconds like a Marvel film or a DC film. Well, DC superhero film nowadays. So yeah, I still quite like that film. I think it's underrated, and I think it deserves a better reputation than it has, in my opinion. So with that said, thanks for watching. It's a lot of fun. It's fast-paced. Good cast. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.